You eat well, you train consistently, you brace your core, but you're still feeling weakness and disconnection in your core, like something's just not working. It could be that you're failing to activate a very important muscle that a lot of people actually don't know how to feel or engage, the transverse abdominis. I'm gonna show you one of my most popular maneuvers to activate this muscle called the stomach vacuum. While strengthening it won't burn fat, it will reshape your waistline. And this move is also proven to decrease lower back pain by strengthening your deep spine stabilizers. It can also support your pelvic floor because it creates what we call a negative pressure within the pelvic cavity. And guess what? It also even helps in digestion. I've had so much success with this maneuver, from my own personal experiences to completely resolving some of my patients' low back pain. Most of my clients and patients who consistently do this maneuver will learn how to control their transverse abdominis and notice a reduction in pain or visual difference in their abdomen pretty quickly. So you might see a lot of people using a weightlifting belt in the gym, but guess what? We have our own built-in belt, and that is our transverse abdominis and the main muscle involved in a stomach vacuum. The transverse abdominis is the deepest layer of your abdominals and acts like a corset around your stomach. If this muscle is weak, that's when you see more distension in your stomach, especially in that lower abdominal area. But I want to emphasize that this is a strength training exercise. Your heart rate is not increasing, so it is not a fat burning exercise. It can help you shape and strengthen your abs, but it will not help you lose that stubborn belly fat. In order to lose that, you need a solid nutrition and exercise plan. If you're ready for that, my brand new Built from the Core workout program is phenomenal for supporting you with nutritional tips alongside with exercises to practice this maneuver. That being said, if you're eating, moving, and training well, stomach vacuums can significantly boost your outcome of a flat stomach and reduce that lower back pain, which who doesn't want that? So in my opinion, everyone should be doing this movement or at least know how to. So let's get into the tutorial. To learn the stomach vacuum, I suggest doing it laying down on the floor or in a quadruped position on your hands and knees. First thing you're going to do is take a large breath in through your nose and out through your mouth, and then expel all of your air, having no breath left. Then pull your stomach and draw your belly button backwards towards your spine, but also up. Hold this drawback for as long as possible, holding your breath and the contraction. Shoot for about 5 to 10 seconds your first time, and then work up to 20 seconds plus. Relax and take a large inhale, resting for 15 to 30 seconds before doing another set. For our very first tip, I suggest doing your stomach vacuums fasted or first thing in the morning when you have no food in your stomach. Sometimes that negative pressure when we have food inside of our intestines can be painful, so if you have pain at all with the maneuver, I say stop for that day and try it again the next day. Number 2, you want to make sure that when you're doing your vacuums, you're not just pulling back, but you're actually pulling back and up. Imagine like you're walking into a cold pool or a lake, and when you get that cold water in your stomach, you just want to pull in and brace all those muscles. So that's kind of what that means, is pulling up and back, not just back to your spine. We want to pull up towards our diaphragm. Number 3, like we talked in the beginning of the video, learning either lying or in all fours, but then you want to progress this movement. So challenging it, either bent over, standing, or marching. Check out my core program. It has all these progressions too. Number 4, practice, practice, practice. My stomach vacuums did not look like this when I first started. And even in the winter times when I'm eating lots of food, I'm a little bit flubbery, mine do not look like this. So also being lean is going to make your stomach vacuums look a little bit more crazy. So get strength in that muscle, be consistent with it. Perform about 6 to 8 sets and do it for 3 to 5 days a week for maximum results. Now the big question you might be asking yourself is, Dr. Jenny, okay, I got the stomach vacuums, but how do I now apply these to my workouts? And this is where we bring in something called the hollow, which is a half stomach vacuum. With a half vacuum, all it is taking that concept of a stomach vacuum, where we're not having the breath hold. You can still have a conversation while you're doing that maneuver. You're just giving light activation to that transverse abdominis. So during a simple sit-up, what we do not want to do is we don't want to do what I call bread loafing, or where we get this big dome within our core. That means we are just putting so much pressure through our abdomen, we're not actually thinking about that engagement of that transverse abdominis. So what you want to think about doing, rather than coming up and bread loafing there, you're thinking about drawing back and doing that half vacuum, that little bit of a hollow, and you're almost coming up over your core rather than pulling and just pushing up and pushing that pressure down into your pelvic floor. you're driving it in as you come back up. You can also apply this to not just core exercises. So something like a bent over row. When you're doing that bent over row, you don't want to let your guts just hang out at the bottom. You want to pull back and drive with the abdominals and just hold that there the entire time while you go through that movement. The biggest and most hardest thing for you is going to be able to hold that contraction while you maintain that breath and while you're focusing on that control while there's other moving parts. What about a heavy squat? I talked about in the beginning of the video why I said don't use weightlifting belts, because we have our own natural weightlifting belt in our body. Apply that to a squat here. So when you're thinking about that, this one's gonna be a little bit different when you're thinking about bracing, going heavy lifts. So you're pulling back and getting that half hollow, and then now you're keeping that half hollow and pushing out on that braced hollow before you go into it. Okay, so you're still pushing out like you would on a normal weight belt where you're pushing out, but you're not trying to just push and drive your stomach out. You're trying to draw back and then push out on that brace drawback while maintaining that position. So remember, stomach vacuuming isn't just a cool little party trick, it's foundational, deep core control. If you're ready to take these vacuums a little bit further, my Built from the Core program gives you the exact blueprint of how to implement these into your workouts with progressive overload training, nutritional guidance, progress photos to show definition changes, and everything you need to build a strong and resilient core. Thanks for watching. Drop a comment if you tried these, and I will see you in the next one.